is good? It's your boy Ty back here with another video. And in this video today, guys, we're going to be going over talking about and ranking each and every one of the top point guards in NBA 2K23 MyTEAM, as well as just every point guard we've gotten within like the last month or so. So you'll see some older point guards on here, like the Galaxy of Ben Simmons, for example. But then even if a card stinks, like an Allen Iverson, and it came out in the last month, or even like the Evo Reggie Jackson Ish Smith, I put them on here as well because look, they're newer, right? They're newer cards, so I haven't really gave you guys an opinion on them, and so that's what I'm going to be doing here for you guys. Now, before we dive any further, guys, make sure you guys do again smash that subscribe button. I love each and every one of you guys. Thank you for the support. A lot of the bad guys, or the guys that aren't very good, we're just going to go through it. Ish Smith, short, not good. Reggie Jackson, short, an absolute garbage man. And then we get Devin Booker with 50 Hall of Fame badges. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but I love Devin Booker with 50 Hall of Famers. I mean, he's got a decent release, decent leaner. I mean, the card can do a lot on the court for you. Is he ever going to be your best point guard in my team? No. But he is. I mean, you can get him for free. And if you're wondering how, well, you would basically have to do the pickup challenge for most every day in the month of, or in this season. Did I do it? No, but it probably was worth it for you guys that did do it to get a free Devin Booker. If I had Devin Booker right now for free on my No Money Spent, he would be my best point guard because I'm running the Draymond Green as well as he do. Devin Booker is better than both those guys. Good release, like what, 50 Hall of Fame badges, absolutely elite. Jamal Murray stinks. There's not a much worse release than you can get than that Jamal Murray. F tier, no questions asked. Bruce Brown's not very good, but he's not F tier. Like, he's 6'4", and he's not that tall, not that great, but, I mean, he is better than Ish Smith, Reggie Jackson, Jamal Murray. Still, again, not a card I'm super high on. Gabe Vincent, F tier. Allen Iverson, F tier. I'm sorry if you're big fans of either of those cards, but they stink in my team. And I'm not going to sit here and hype up cards that stink. That's not me. That's not something I'll ever really want to do. Allen Iverson absolutely stinks, as well as Gabe Vincent. Şengün, our first B tier card. In my opinion, a lot of people got mad that Şengün was left off my top 100 list. And, you know, maybe part of it's my fault. Maybe he should have been on there. But for me, in the way I look at things, his release is not good. I think we all can agree with that. It's slow. His offense is very mid, very mediocre. I mean, what is he really giving you on the court outside of the fact that he's 6'10" with the wide player amount of player? But I get he does that on the court. But even if you compare him to Devin Booker offensively gives you so much more. It's not even comparable. Austin Carr up next. I'm putting Austin Carr at C tier. I think he's better than Bruce Brown. And if you've ever used Austin Carr, you would agree with me. The card is not bad in general, and definitely a card you can use and have success with. He's free, literally free. Ben Simmons up next. Now here's the deal. I'm putting Galaxy of Ben Simmons at B tier, but here's what it comes down to. Can you green with Ben Simmons or can you not green with Ben Simmons? That's ultimately what it's coming down to. Because if you can green with Ben Simmons, the rest is going to take care of itself. Ben Simmons has a great player model. He's 6'11", going to play immaculate defense, going to run to the rim immaculately and dunk the ball on everybody. I love Galaxy Opal Ben Simmons because he still has a massive player build, and he still is going to play immaculate defense. He's probably a top 5 defensive player at the point guard position, and that includes the other 2 Ben Simmons cards that we will get and talk about here. Titans Ben, I'm going to go A tier. Hero Ben, S tier. You basically just see a steady increase in their shooting ability as you go through it, right? Outside of their ability to shoot the ball, is there a massive difference between the Hero Ben and the Stellar Ben? No. But shooting the ball makes a big difference, and that's really the difference with Ben Simmons. I mean, there's not much else with Ben Simmons that, you know, makes that much of a difference outside of that. But that alone, to me, makes enough difference to separate them by tiers. And I think they're in these exact tiers. If you want to argue Titans Ben in S tier, I don't necessarily think you're wrong, especially if you give him a good coach, good shoe, the right badges. I would not hate that argument. Cade Cunningham, I'm putting at B tier. And I'm sorry, Unbeatable Jacob. Cade Middingham. I mean, that's really what he is. He is the definition of mid. Mid-release, mid-movement, mid-defense, mid-everything for Cade. At least with Şengün, with Ben, they're tall. I mean, Cade's 6'8", which is tall in retrospect, but Şengün's 6'10", Ben is 6'11". I'm putting them on the same tier. You guys don't have to love that, but that's where I'm at with things. CP3, F tier. The card short, can't do nothing. CG, I put in D tier. Dame, look, I'm putting Dame in D tier too. I like Dame so much more than CP and AI. He's at least 6'2", at least gives you somewhat more. I don't love Dame, but even his release, if you get people crabbed, it can be cheesy. Because even the last, I think it was the Opal Dame that I got, he did some things for me for a specific time. David Thompson, I'd be lying to say I used him because I haven't. I'm going to guess C tier, but honestly, I'm not entirely sure if that's correct for David Thompson. Now, I'm not saying David Thompson's bad, because when we go over to 2K database, I'm not saying David Thompson is bad. But, I mean, is he as good as D-Book? No, because he's only 6'4", and that's the big difference. You could argue him in B tier, maybe. I mean, maybe B tier is the right spot, and I think it probably, no, he's just too short. Maybe we move Austin Carr down. David Thompson's really solid, though, for a small point guard. I think that needs to be talked about. For a small point guard, he is definitely really, really solid in my team. Dominique Wilkins up next. I'm going to go B tier with no, I'm going A tier. I'm going A tier. Look, I don't necessarily love Dominique Wilkins, and I think if you get Dominique Wilkins, you got to get that release down, because it's one that's kind of weird. But if you do get it down, he does so much else on the court. He's going to knock down shots. He's going to play good defense. Again, he's 6'7", and he's an invincible. He's going to get crazy animations as we do talk about it. Do I think, he is, a guy that I would grind for in collector level? No, there's not been a collector level all year that has been worth the grind. But if you get him, he is solid enough at that point guard position. The oil man, Don Oil, up next. He's not better than David Thompson. I guess I'll put him in C tier, but David Thompson clears him by a wide margin. Donovan Mitchell, I don't mind Donovan Mitchell, but he's D tier. He's the, how do I say it? At 6'1", he has the best player build I've seen. I mean, it's that simple. His player build's better than a guy like Derrick Rose, who's 6'3", which is just kind of crazy to think about. Draymond Green, I'm going to go B tier. And again, he is my point guard on my No Money Spent. But when you talk about mid, I think that's what Draymond Green resembles. I mean, he is very similar to Cade Cunningham. Yes, Cade's release might be quicker. Dre's as a wider player model player build. They're both mid at the end of the day. I'm not going to sit here and, hype up one over the other. They are both absolutely mid in general. Dyson Daniels up next. Ooh, and this is a tough one for Mr. Dyson Daniels. Because a lot of people love Dyson. And again, his release isn't bad, and for a budget point guard, he is fine. But in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to the top point guards in the game, I know his defense is solid. He's mid, 6'7", I guess, he's C tier. I mean, it's that simple. He is C tier. Offensively, he's not great. Not as good as like a Draymond. Not as good as a Cade. I'm putting him at C tier. If you do need a budget point guard, Dyson is fine in my team. Magic Johnson, here's where it gets tough. I'm going to put Magic Johnson in C tier. But I don't mind Magic Johnson. And it's weird that he's in C tier. But I think that's what he deserves, where he belongs, right? I still think Ben and Şengün are better than him. Cade and Draymond are more complete. I like Magic, but I'm going to go C tier. Fred VanVleet is an absolute scrub. He's F tier. The glove, Gary Payton, C tier. And I know you guys might want to argue, but he's 6'4". Small point guards are so hard to run in my team. It's just the way it is. Gary at 6'4", that is as high as I can go with C tier. Because if you're asking me today who I prefer between him and Magic Johnson's Galaxy Opal, it's going to be Magic Johnson. Agent Zero, Gilbert Arenas, probably the best smaller point guard in my team, still C tier. He's still not as good as any of these guys at B tier. That's the way it is. Harold Miner, 6'5", a little more height, can standing dunk, but I don't think I can go any higher than C tier. I do think he does belong in C tier, and I might be alone on that, but that's where I've got him. Hedo is A tier. You guys can hate me, but if you hate me, you gotta watch the No Money Spent Squad series, because he cooks on the no money spent squad. He carries my bench unit. I like him more than Draymond Green, and I've got both of them, and have used both of them. And if it's up to me, give me Hedo over Draymond. The only reason I'm gassing Draymond is because I got him for free, and if you got a rush card for free, you should be gassing them, right? I mean, they're a free card, so it's the way it is. Bonga Man up next. I think he's C tier. Look, he's solid. Bonga is solid. He can absolutely hold it down. He's very similar to a guy like Dyson Daniels. It's that simple. It's that easy. The card's relatively similar. Going to give you about the same thing on the court. Jalen Green stinks. He's D tier. And I don't care if you love Jalen Green. That's fine. He's D tier. He's 6'6", feels like 6'2". His release isn't good. I do not like Jalen Green. You want a if there's a Jalen Green in my team hater, it's me. If there's 100, I'm one of them. Jalen Green stinks. Jalen Rose, he's not bad. He's not bad. But is he good? Not really. Like, I'm going to put him in C tier because I use the Jalen Green. Or not Jalen Green, Jalen Rose. My apologies. And I tried him, and I was like, is he it? And he's just not. I don't know how else to say it. Like, Jalen Rose, he should be good, but his release is kind of hard to green. He's just not that next level good in my team. James Harden, I'm going to go C tier. And I know people are going to get mad at me for this. He's C tier. He's not tall enough to be doing anything special. And his dribble sigs aren't good enough for him to be in B tier. It's not like he moves like a, Francis size of anything like that. He's fine, but he's not great. Ja Morant, D tier. I mean, he's Ja. You know what you're getting out of Ja. Small point guard, decent release, going to be good at running to the rim, but cannot put him any higher than D tier. I simply can't. D tier, in my opinion, is where he belongs. Jason Kidd, F tier. Jason Terry, D tier. Now, you might be like, Ty, that's kind of backwards, right? Well, Jason Terry, at least, can move. If you need a card that's fun to use, or a card even for like getting through triple threat offline games with a drag back, Jason Terry's your guy. Jason Kidd provides nothing tangible on the basketball court outside of being horrible. It's really that simple. Jeremy Lin, I guess I'll go D tier. Jeremy Lin stinks though. Don't be deceived, because I remember, what was it, back in 2K21 or something, we had a decent Jeremy Lin. Obviously, it was way earlier in the year, but this Jeremy Lin is not good. Lin Sanity is not alive in my team. Jimmy Butler, B tier, and you guys might be surprised at how high I have Jimmy Butler's out of position card. I don't love him. Decent release, 6'7", plays good defense, better than Dyson Daniels, Bonga, and definitely better than Magic Johnson. B tier for me. You guys can hate me, but that is ultimately where I do have him. John Starks up next. D tier is where I'm going for John Starks. Just an okay point guard in my team, but I don't love him or rate him that highly. Stockton, maybe a decent release, F tier though. John Wall, I'm throwing at C tier. Another small point guard, but he can be a lot of fun to use. So throw him right in. I don't want to say right in the Gary Payton category because they are different. But that 6'4" range that are going to play decent enough defense, but just can't quite standing dunk. You got to be 6'5" to like standing dunk consistently. So, I mean, they can't quite consistently standing dunk, but they're okay in my team. JoJo White, I did a gameplay of him. He absolutely reeks. Like, there's not many cards that reek as bad as JoJo White does. He is a bona fide scrub in my team that cannot play. I don't know who needs to tell y'all this. He is a bona fide scrub that can't play. I don't make the rules. The rules make themselves. And that's where I'm at with JoJo White. Josh Giddey is not that bad. I'm throwing him in C tier. He's not great. For a level 1 card, though, he's fine. You get Josh Giddey, you can use him because he's going to at least compete on defense. Sure, his release isn't great. He leaves some things to be desired, and that's what's to expect out of a level 1 card. But for a level 1 card, I'll take a guy like Josh Giddey every season. Literally, if we got a C tier or B tier, maybe at the time card, every season, I would take that and run with it. J.R. Smith, 6'6". I'll go B tier with him, though. I mean, because when you compare J.R. Smith even to like a John Wall, Gary Payton, J.R. is just taller. He's going to play better defense. And sure, he might not be as good movement-wise, have as good of a release maybe as a John Wall. But I love JR because when I used him, he has an easy release to time, easy to green. He's J.R. Smith, 40 Hall of Famers, does a lot for you. Heroic JR probably would only be C tier. Jrue Holiday, C tier, but I don't mind Jrue Holiday. If you're just starting my team, I think grinding for Jrue Holiday in the spotlights is not a bad decision. Now that, for me, I may be biased because I can green with Jrue Holiday. A lot of people can't. If you can't get his release down, it might be a struggle fest with Mr. Jrue Holiday. KPJ, Kevin Porter Jr. up next. I'm throwing him at B tier. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, and that's valid, okay? But he's 6'6", immaculate release, plays decent defense, and can be your primary ball handler. That's the big thing. When you look at my tier list, okay, how many of these cards can be your primary ball handler? If you're looking B tier and above, no, yes, no. Borderline, I say yes. No, yes. So, 80% of those guys can't be a primary ball handler. KPJ can. And at 6'6", playing decent enough defense, I think it's enough to put him at B tier. Kobe Bryant, invincible. I guess I'll throw it. And I don't like Kobe. I mean, I guess A tier, but I do not love the card. They kind of did Kobe wrong. I mean, they gave MJ, obviously KPJ, and Kobe didn't get it. But even Kobe's triple six aren't that good. Because he's an invincible, and I'll put him on like the Dominique Wilkins type of level. Gonna get a lot of defensive animations, stuff like that, has good badges. I'll put him at A tier, but just know in the back of my mind, Dominique Wilkins and Kobe both leave something to be desired. Kyrie Irving stinks, F tier. DBG tweeted something about, this card is better than I expected. Yeah, and he's still a bona fide scrub. Kyrie Irving reeks. Literally horrible. LaMelo Ball, maybe Kyrie's probably, he's probably B tier. He's not F tier, but he stinks. LaMelo Ball, S tier. I'm not taking any LaMelo Ball slander. I'm not, because I definitely really rate LaMelo highly. The problem is, the difference between a guy like LaMelo and Hero Ben, here's the difference, right? LaMelo offensively blows Ben out of the water. He's got a way better release. He can be a borderline, he can't be a primary, but a really good secondary ball handler. The problem is, Ben Simmons plays lanes way better because he's 6'11". LaMelo can guard T-Mac, Terry, guys like that. But it's just, Ben Simmons is better in my opinion just because of height. And it's sad that I've got to admit that here in front of you guys, but it's the way it is. I love the LaMelo Ball base. I mean, Tim Thomas really changed that for me, and once you get it down, you don't lose sight of it, but it's just not enough to put him as my #1 point guard. Lance Stevenson, C tier. I mean, again, another guy that you can run if you're a budget guy. Any of the guys at C tier, let's just go over them. Jalen Rose, Magic Johnson, Bonga, Dyson Daniels, even Harold Miner, right? Any of these guys you can run and have success with. Drew Holiday, Josh Giddey, even Lance Stevenson. They're not B tier guys, but they are really solid. And if you, again, are nobody spent just starting the game, guys you can run and have some success with. Larry Hughes is borderline B tier, but I'm still going to go C tier. I mean, he's still one of those budget guys that you can use. I think he is at the very top of C tier, borderline B tier, but again, I don't think he's quite as good as some of those guys at B tier. Luka up next. I'm going to throw Luka. I think he fits the S tier more. You guys, again, don't have to agree with me, but I definitely think he fits the S tier more than the A tier. Because, look, you need a primary ball handler at the point guard position. People are going to run Luka over nearly anybody else, right? It's just that simple, that easy. Very tough to defend against as well. Luke Walton, really solid. He is really solid. I'm going to... this is tough. This gets really tough. I'm not. I want to throw him at B tier, but I'm going to throw him at C tier. Luke Walton, maybe my favorite budget point guard still in my team, though. I know there's a lot of good budget options now. Luke Walton's still one of my favorite, though. Not saying you guys got to go and run him. I'm just telling you guys my honest opinion that he is still one of my favorite overall point guards in my team. Magic Johnson, invincible, S tier. I'm not going to let anybody slander Magic. Sure, his pass style is bad. Sure, he's not perfect. I get all that, okay? And I am willing to admit that. But Magic's still an invincible, going to play great defense, run to the rim well, has a normal leaner, still does a lot for you on the court. Manu Ginobili, B tier. I don't love Manu, very similar to a guy like J.R. Smith. Does have the Karis LeVert base. His release is really interesting. It's not bad, though, and that's what people need to understand with Manu. Hero MJ, I don't rate highly. B tier. Invincible MJ, I guess I'll go A tier. I don't love either MJs. MJ's better than Kobe, though. Hero MJ, again, B tier. I don't love the card at all. Hero Jokic, maybe your best point guard in my team right now. Probably definitely the most complete. Oshman Jang up next. I'm going to throw him at B tier. My only budget point guard I'm throwing at B tier, and why he's 6'10". The rest can take care of itself. If you are 6'10" in my team and play decent defense, I'm throwing you in B tier because that means you can switch. That means you can defend a lot of different. Nah, If I put him at B tier, it sets a bad precedence. I gotta throw him at C tier, although I want him to be B tier. So at the end of the day, keep that in the back of your mind. I want him to be B tier, but he just ultimately can't be. Poe Westphal, not horrible, D tier though. He's just undersized, but decent release, can get the job done. Penny, B tier. Penny's gonna play good defense. That's about it though. Gonna play good defense, can run to the rim, standing dunk, stuff like that. Has a decent leaner, but that release is really bad for Penny. If he had a better release, I wouldn't be so low on him, but again, that release definitely leaves a lot to be desired. Pistol Pete at this stage is D tier. I don't even mind Pistol Pete, but again, at this stage, not very good. Rondo, absolutely horrible, F tier. Reggie Theus, B tier. Again, decent release. Does some things for you at 6'6", gonna play decent defense, but he's not A tier or anything above. A lot of those collected levels, they look good, and then when you use them, they're just not what you expect. Ron Artest, I was wrong about you, man. I'll throw you in B tier. I'll be the first to admit I was wrong about Ron Artest, okay? It is just that simple, that easy. I was too low on him for where I should have been. Do I love Ron Artest? No. Do I think he's a top 5 point guard in my team? Absolutely not. But he is top 10 probably at the end of the day. Invincible Russell Westbrook, I'm throwing a C tier. I do not like Russell Westbrook. If you're a big Russ fan, do what you got to do. I am not a fan of Russ. And wherever Steph Curry is, you're going in C tier as well. I'm sorry, if you want to run these cards, do what you got to do. But you're watching a tier list of a guy that plays at a very high level. Not to, toot my own horn, but you're not going to see Russ or Steph. Instead, you'll see a Ben Simmons, Şengün before those type of guys who will get exploited on the defensive end of the court. Sarunas, I mean, he's mid. Somebody asked me the other day, Ty, how do you rate Sarunas? The definition of mid in my team. Scotty Barnes up next. I think I got to go B tier, but I think he's high B tier. No, he's A tier. He's A tier. He's A tier. He's better than Dre, in my opinion. I think he's low A tier, but I do think he's A tier. So if you're asking me him or Dom, I'm taking Scotty Barnes, right? It's that simple, that easy. That's why I'm throwing him at A tier. Upper kind of ruins the base, but he is A tier at the end of the day. Shai, B tier. And I don't even love Shai because I think his player model is not very good. But he is solid. He can go get you a bucket, play decent enough defense. I do think he's B tier at the end of the day. Sean Livingston, B tier too. I like Sean Livingston. I rate him highly. He's borderline A tier. I think he's right up there at the top of B tier. Sidney Moncrief, I don't love. I'm going to throw a C tier. I know he's undersized. Good release, good sig, stuff like that. No, he's going B. He's going D tier. Sidney Moncrief's not that good in my team. Steve Francis kind of sucks. Tim Hardaway really sucks. Tyrese Halliburton really sucks. Victor Oladipo pretty much stinks. I give him D tier, but we got a lot of bad people that we've gotten in the last couple of months. But anybody's C tier or higher, I would say, are cards that you can use and have a lot of success with. B tier or higher are cards you can take into any type of game mode and really get the job done at a very, very high level. Obviously, you guys can see my top 5, how I'd rank them is probably the order they're in at this stage. I'll rank A tier for you guys really quickly as well, just because I think it's important to do, just to get a better visual, a better picture, for where I would have guys. And this is probably where I'd have people at A tier as it stands right now. So if you want my top 10 point guards in my team, that's how it would probably stand right now. Maybe Heater over Ron, but that would be my only maybe switch. That's going to wrap it up for my video, though, on the point guard tier list, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and as always, man, I love you guys, and have a blessed day.